All right, Arvin, we've got another important topic. This one is about compliance and specifically about document annotation. So we're talking about when you have to submit a plan of action, right, to get something reinstated, or let's say Amazon's asking you for invoices or a bill of lading or packing slip or anything like that. Um, Annotation of the documents. So first off, I mean, caveat, obviously, to anyone who's looking at this video, watching, what have you, always make sure you're checking terms of service and all that stuff for yourself. They change, but this video is obviously just about what we can do in terms of annotation. So I guess I'll just ask you the question, like, when does this come into play? Why do we need to annotate documents? And I guess we need to obviously talk about the important side of when is it going too far. We're not saying that it's a good idea ever to, make
Mhm.
up stuff on documents. You should not be doing that. You shouldn't be like falsifying a document. That's going to get you in trouble and get your account banned. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how
Yeah.
can you make it easier for the person at Amazon who's reviewing your documents to do their job. So
Mhm.
when is this applicable, I guess, is kind of the question.
Yeah, first, I want to echo what you said. Yeah, we're not going to fabricate a document. We're just annotating it or highlighting the documents to make it easy for someone inside Amazon to review your documents a lot faster because they are just looking for a specific information and at least for example an invoice or maybe a lab test result report did and then they're looking for the information that will match your product detail page. There's a problem, for example, for example, a product that is made for children, so like toys. So when you order the product from your supplier, maybe in China, you don't have an ASIN yet, or you don't have like a specific title product for that product yet, and then they produced it, and then they send it to QA, and then on the QA report, it says they're like whatever that product is called by the supplier internally. Sometimes they have their own product codes, right? So now that you finally decided to list your product and then then you did a keyword research or to you optimize your listing, and then suddenly Amazon will get back to you and say, hey, we need this information, we need the children product safety document, we need the lab test result. And then yeah, you actually have it, but the problem is the information that you have on the document is not matching your listing. So the seller support who is checking it will automatically reject it because they don't know what this is. So if you annotate the lab test result or even the children product safety document by just adding the ASIN, make sure, maybe me in my personal experience, what I'm doing when I'm annotating is I will annotate it with a different color so that it's still the same document. You're not gonna fabricate it. We'll just add additional information in there, like add the ASIN number and even the product title, because that will help. And then another thing, but you have any question before I continue? 'Cause I'm
No, I
just
mean,
talking too much.
I think it's good. For me, the common one that I know I've gone through firsthand is like when Amazon asks for an invoice or a purchase order from something that's showing that I've bought product from a legitimate supplier. You know, they're
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be sending a purchase order to my supplier normally that has my Amazon product ASIN on there, right? And sometimes maybe
Yeah,
it show the UPC. Just depends. Maybe your accounting software that spits that out doesn't, that's not how you set your product up. Whatever the reason is, that's what we're saying is that's where oftentimes we're trying to make the person who's reviewing on the Amazon end, who's probably reviewing thousands of these, in a week, make their job easier. They're not gonna, they want to get through it and move on to the next one. And so if it's hard for them to see, oh, this product that's on this invoice, for example, does this product match the one we're talking about and that's having a problem on Amazon? And if it's not really
yeah,
clear to them immediately, then of course they're going to reject it. And so by adding
yeah.
certain things like annotating it with, I used to always put like a bright red box around the product I'm talking about in the info, whether it's like the supplier
Mm-hmm.
info or the product, maybe I would add the ASIN on there to note it. So those are
Yeah.
the kind of things where we always say it's like you think you use 9-year-old, I use 5-year-old, like call it out so that a 5-year-old or a 9-year-old could read it and understand, what you're trying to get at. That was all I was going to add.
Well, I'm using 9-year-old because I learn how to read at the age of 9. Just kidding. No, just kidding. Ben like learned how to read at the age of 5. But yeah, well, actually, the information there that what you call this one, that the other thing that I want to mention is that, aside from adding text of like what specific ASIN, you actually mentioned it earlier, like annotating all of this information, like for example, supplier information, their phone number, and then also even your selling account information, that it does it match the document, like the invoice to information. Supposedly it should be invoiced to you, right? But since you are providing it to Amazon, does it match your selling account? Does it has the business information that you also have, or even the business address? Because oops, there's like the because sometimes the let's say for example, you place an order to your manufacturer in the USA and they are shipping it, and then on the invoice, instead of adding your business information, they will invoice it to your 3PL warehouse, and so that will cause confusion to Amazon support who's checking it. Oh, that doesn't match your selling account information. Then you also then need to provide an agreement, like what your working agreement with the third party, the 3PL, that this guy is working with me. That's why the invoices are invoiced to them, because they're storing my products. So yeah, that's just another thing. Like that's why this annotation will help us solve issues a lot faster, because
Yeah.
the seller support will help us, but we also need to help them too, with thousands of documents that they're checking every day.
Right.
Go on, sorry,
Yeah.
Ben.
No, no, I think that, I mean, the main message is do not fabricate any documentation. That's gonna get you banned, and Amazon does not allow that.
Yeah,
When you are looking at what is, allowed and helpful and will help with faster issue resolution, that's where we get into things like, I mean, my power use case is just red boxes and red arrows pointing out exactly what they want. And if necessary,
yeah,
adding some kind of text sometimes, which I think should be done in another color so that it really calls it out. But normally that's going to be like ASIN, UPC, things like that, that really call out this product is exactly what, whatever the issue is. This is this thing that we're talking about, so they can understand. Those are kind of the main ways that I've used it over the years. But I just want to reiterate, do not fabricate documents. You're going to get in trouble. But the other thing is allowed. Anything else to add, or yeah, on this topic?
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
Cool.
just be mindful, of course, of
Yeah.
annotating. Make sure that you're not fabricating it.
Yeah, good stuff. If anyone does have any questions, so that's it for this video. But if you do have more questions, or just, want to ask us before submitting a document or something, let us know in the comments down below. We'll also put links, I think, to our LinkedIn profiles or something, so you can reach out and get in touch as well. But that's it for this one. Yeah, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe. We're posting videos a lot more frequently, just talking about changes to Amazon, updates, and resolving these types of issues. So stay tuned, and we will be back for the next video. Cheers.